I'm Sasha, my product manager now at Auto for CSM for all the modules that I have. Yeah, and let's talk about the future of the curated module. We also call it CM. Yeah, let's just get started. What I have here. Yeah, so as most of you know, I guess, I will. CM right now secures over 90% of the current Lido stake in the Lido protocol. And this is like the biggest part. This is a curated module, meaning that we curate non-operators and that we have the onboarding ROMs for them. So CSL is permissionless, CM is permissioned, and simple DBT is permissioned. And as you can see, 92% is like a big number. That means that like all other protocol is now relying on the sets that we have in this module. So why do we want to talk about the future of the curated module today? First of all, we know that the speaking landscape is changing, and we now see that non-curators or a part of the curated set, they also have business outside the live protocol, and they compete globally. They offer more flexible like terms, fees, I guess, namely, and stronger guarantees to their clients. And at the same time, our curated module is not flexible enough to adapt for this like current reality, current work, and let's unpack a little bit what they exactly mean by not flexible enough. So first of all, again, most of you, I guess, know that we have like this fee split economics, meaning that we have 10% of fee and 5% of them roads to the QA module operators. This is something that is like can be changed, but each of the iteration of changing this fee modifier full our code. So this is one of the like constraints that we have towards the way when we see the curated module being flexible, being adaptable for the market. Then we have like spec allocation in a way that all of the graders have again the same rewards without accounting for their performance, without accounting for the contributions that they do outside of their like main duties in the curated module. So the model is curated. It up until now has been purely relying on the trust component of the node operators, meaning that node operators were part of the curated module. They put at stake their reputation, but no want, no money. And we have quite a lot of living related to governance friction, and Kate was saying that is true, because even simple interactions like changing the reward address of a node different require a full DAO vote. And full DAO vote is like whole process where we have low flight contributors for a vault, and it requires attention from FDO holders, some love RTO. Now the main challenge is how do we modernize the module without losing what made the initial version of the curated module successful, strong, and powerful. Before, oh no, not before, just a quick walkthrough around what we were having in mind while like developing, designing the features we will be talking in a second. So curated module, the new iteration of curated module, or the curated module, what you do. The main principles of this new iteration is sustainability, competitiveness, alignment, and autonomy, and all of the features that you'll see later on will be based on those principles. Now, before we actually go to the surface animation, so before we go to the actual features, I just want to mention a very important thing that all of the features I will be describing later on will be divided into two parts. With the phase number 1, which is about to be released in the first or second quarter of the next year, where we will have consolidations, quantum, and underrated tabs, and phase number 2, of where we'll have forward validator market. We'll hear about it for seconds. Festive fees and strike system. This is done for the purpose of introducing consolidations earlier than later. According to our rough estimation, the process of consolidating all the stake that right now is the curated live will take us at least 4.5 months. So basically, our main idea about splitting this into 2 releases is that we'll be able to deliver features majorly. It will be more comfortable for node operators to adapt to like new feature set and start consolidating validator story. Okay, no, phase number one. Let's go through the features. Here we have 4 iterator bond, iterator ties, penalties, and rewards layer. So the biggest change for node operator is that now in the curated module v2, node operators will need to provide port. This will be like an addition to this trust component that I mentioned before. Now the wider protocol is not only relying on the trust to node operators, but they also need to like strengthen this trust with like real bond that they put. It's not something new. We introduced the bond mechanics in CSM because it's a permissionless module. There is no other way basically to introduce a permissionless module without a bond. But now it's about time we introduce the same approach in the curated module. So the idea is that operators provide bonds in the form of SCs. It serves as a coverage for like bad performance, name, slashing incidents, the violations of the bonuses of the protocol, or some kind of like extended downtime. The bot will be sitting at a node operator level mounted per key, which will make it possible for protocol to cover a broader case of use behavior from node operators. Now, as we introduce bond, there should be a way to use this bond somehow, and this is where we have pouches. In most cases, the penalty will work in a way that there is a committing that removes some incident, and if this like incident is legit, the certain portion of a node operator bond will be deducted. Yeah, and in order to ensure that this committee is like not crazy and do the real job, all of this will be overseen by the Lido EasyTref. So it's not just somebody decided to finalize a validator and here we go. All right, what do we have next? Yeah, next we have a pretty full idea of a non-operator type that you can already touch it development with this ICS thing. For the curated module, we want to introduce 7 different non-operator types. This is our idea to recognize the diversity of the non-operators we have. So, for example, I will try to give you like the tangible and practical example. So we can see that we have decentralization non-operator type. Those operators will actively contribute to the decentralization. So, for example, have their infrastructure somewhere like in Africa or Antarctica, who knows? They for sure struggle with like keeping up with this high performance level. So they have performance issue, and we need to have a way to somehow distinguish them and say, hey, we value your effort in terms of like decentralization the component you put into my protocol, and that is why we understand that this type of node operator should have like lower performance leeway, meaning that we allow for a little worse performance than we do for others. So this is the idea. There are 7 node operator types. We can explain like about each of those, why this type need higher rewards, why this type needs tighter leeway. But basically, this is an overall idea that we want to recognize the difference between node operator types. Important thing to mention here is that one node operator entity can have multiple subnode operators of different types. So, for example, if we go back, one node operator entity can run a certain portion of keys under the DBT segment, and this will be recognized as I don't know what to call it, inter-operator cluster, while the rest of the keys will fall under the standard professional trust and operator. This is something that is like super new. It's even new for CSM. It cannot be done like this in CSM. Yeah. The last feature that we have for phase number 1 is a reward splitter. Basically, for those who familiar with DMT technology is not something new, it's just a mechanism that allow you to split your rewards multiple addresses. This is done again for the purpose of simplification, the integration with DBT, and again, some kind of like use case where not a operator want to go to donate a portion of their rewards to some of public good organizations also can be done by this feature, and Line protocol in this case just does nothing with this like rewards. It's up to an operator to decide which addresses to put this rewards there. That's pretty much how it did, and up until now it doesn't really sound like this is something that is really flexible, and this is really something in self-balance. This is why we have phase number 2, where we basically want to bring the module closer to this long-term mission plan. The Curated module can self-regulate. Let's see. So few have more features, but the main feature number 1 is this validator market, also known as Walmart, which is a self-balancing system of state distribution and redistribution, where for example, each of the non-operators, it has its own weight. And weight represents like a list of certain parameters that matter for Lido protocol. The bigger your weight is, the more snapes you can get within this allocation. So that's the very high level idea of validator market, and all the rest of the features that you see on the screen right now, they are complementary, and they are meant to like enable this mechanism of a dynamic market. Now let's see. First of all, we have custom figure. This is the thing that never existed before. Now all the non-operators are the same thing. With this custom figure, we want to allow an operator to express their like real world hosts and reflect it into the feed that they want to propose for the protocol, while the protocol in its turn will allocate in the stake according to those fees. Yeah, actually it's the mechanism that aims to enable more fair competition between node operators and for the protocol to distribute and stake more efficient. Let's see, strike system. This one my favorite. Probably because there's most of the time we tried to design this, because yeah, it was it's also something something that is very different from CSM, and maybe I'll stop and able to explain why. So in the curated module tool, this is the mechanism for a long-term accountability, meaning that we don't want to penalize each and every operator like for a single incident of, say, downtime. Or, yeah, let's make it as downtime, or like with OS violation. Instead, what we want to do is to have like a whole history of what, of their beginner set, of another operator. And for example, something went wrong and you have like a big downtime. We issue a strike and nothing happens. But as more strike, as many strike you get, the least your rewards distributions with the time. So while like instead we could use the mechanism, okay, you missed the start, we could just, I don't know, deduct it from your rewards, which is a like short-term measure. But what we want to rely on, since this curated module is big and node operators like have quite a lot of validators, it makes sense to measure it at scale. Okay, let's wonder up next. Next, we have about reserve, which is a pretty simple mechanism that was down to the idea the most stake you're ready to provide to color your node operator, the most stake you can get. Pretty easy, and it's again the easiest mechanism to like align stages between node operators to your time stakers. Next up we have LDO log, and this is the feature that Kate loves the most because Kate is responsible for DAO governance. This is our idea to try to incentivize node operators' involvement in the Lido governance, because you know that like in most cases we're struggling with Curated Core. By the way, the beginning of December, I guess it's been a bit 10th of December, we're gonna have a next on-chain vote. So please vote. Yeah, and this feature is basically our attempt to engage our node operators to Lido governance. So if you are ready to provide some LDO, log them, and then again whether voting yourself, it can give you an opportunity to get a more stake distributed by the Lido protocol. I guess I need to speed up. Oops. All right. Yeah, and the validator markets, basically, this is why we need all the features that I described above. a weighting system, dynamic weighting system that will determine how we distribute stake on node operators based on the sort of parameters that these node operators have. Let's move further. Node operators life cycle. Really, really, really quick. Now let's see what is gonna change in terms of upgrade life cycle. Pretty much nothing in terms of onboarding. We open an onboarding route, node operators apply, we add node operators to the registry. That's it. The only difference, and this is the thing that is important for our current node operators, that they will be able to manage their addresses themselves. Again, as I mentioned before, now node operators, if they need to change their reward address, will need to run with all losses of on-chain voting, while now they will be able to do it just now. I'm pretty honest feature, but it's about time they introduced it. He's uploaded nothing. Yeah, I guess this is the step that requires like the most attention from our node operators right now, because upon he is uploaded, you're now going to the right part. Just a continue change. Staying location. Here's the secret you want to start with us. So we have two models of how it's gonna work. After the release number 1, we're gonna have min first stake allocation. And after release number 2, the Walmart to a start work is full capacity, I hope. Rewards distribution. Now, when node operators provide bond, they have two types of rewards: bond reward and node operator reward. The node operator rewards will be distributed every either 7 or 14 days. We need to decide that. And bond rewards are distributed daily. And now the main change is that right now, node operator rewards are distributed every day, and they go straight to the reward address of a node operator. While now, after like thinking of after I conducted survey among node operators, I realized that like it's a really big difference in terms of how the node operators are dealing with their like accounting and stuff, and we want to give them as much flexibility as we want. Now is for them to decide when they actually want to play with their rewards based on their taxes and accounting considerations. This is the last slide. And let's talk about migration really quick. So first of all, the curated module v2 is a utilizing coming out as the rate of the existing module, which means that all the stake that currently sits in the curated module need to be migrated to a new module, which is a like very scary process. So we want to do this migration via consolidations. And in order to ensure that in each point in time the Lido protocol is ready to receive stake, we want to keep the both modules, the both versions of the modules run for some time until the migration process is done, and we can turn the previous version off and be fully on the CM v2. And now this is like drawn as the last slide. She doesn't work. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for your attention, and we'll be having the fireside chat, I guess, very soon. So thank you, and I'll see you in a minute.